And as we mentioned, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, to address the parliament in a couple of hours from now. Here's a little of one address. He's spoken to several parliaments. This, I believe, was to the Norwegian parliament.
Russian missiles and air bombs are hitting our cities and civilian infrastructure on the daily basis, every night. For the Russian forces, there are no prohibited targets. They attack everything, starting from hospitals to airports, starting from food warehouses to housing blocks, and the losses are colossal.
Joining me here in the studio is the Employment Minister, Stuart Robert. A big moment for the Parliament, isn't it, at 5:30 Canberra time, and quite a rare one, with an address to the Parliament via video link coming from that Ukrainian war hero.
Well, it's quite an extraordinary circumstance we find ourselves in, with a major European power, in this case Russia, a permanent member of the UN Security Council, unilaterally, unequivocally invading another European nation, a nation of 44 million people. It's bigger than New South Wales, the size of Texas. Europe's at war. It's quite extraordinary. We've seen, of course, President Zelensky address a number of parliaments, especially those nations that are providing material support through. It is certainly history-making.
On the last day of Parliament for this term, it was a bit of a fiery session there. You could tell it was going to be the last day for either Scott Morrison or Anthony Albanese on either side of the dispatch box. For one of them, it will be their last day in their position, you'd think, and so a lot at stake. What's your feeling as you head into this election campaign not far away? Are you confident of retaining government?
I'm confident of a good fight, that the Australian people will make a wise decision. I'm confident the Australian people will see this not as a referendum of a government, but as a contest between two leaders, two ideas and ideals, and two teams. And that's what it should be. We'll put forward a policy position. We had a budget last night with over 500 measures. I'm led to believe Mr Albanese will respond with one measure tonight. And that's the differentiation. We're laying our cards on the table. We're laying out a strong economic plan, a plan that's already seen employment or unemployment down to 4%, the highest participation rate in history.
But that's really because of the closed borders. It's not because of government policy, is it?
I couldn't disagree with you more, Kieran. Couldn't disagree more. 1,000 policy decisions we have made throughout COVID. 1,000. The idea that we can simplistically reduce Australia's economic achievements down to one decision, closing borders, defies, frankly, logic.
In terms of the labour market, it's been a big factor.
It's been a factor, but nowhere near a big factor. Many nations closed their borders, but why are we the only one in the OECD, or at least only a couple, with more of our citizens employed now than pre-COVID? If it was just closing borders, why is our unemployment coming down and our participation rate going up when the US's participation rate is collapsing? Why do we have more women in work than any other time, literally, since 1974?
For a lot of businesses, though, they can't find workers right now. There are huge labour shortages, aren't there?
Absolutely there are. And you're seeing the response in the budget, record levels of funding in terms of skilling, $3.7 billion there for a new skill agreement that will see 800,000 more Australians getting into jobs. And of course, the $2 billion job trainer, it's still got some headroom, 463,000 places, but only 350-odd thousand and below taken up. Lots of opportunity.